Okay, I make a call to order for the Aleppo administrative meeting. Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Vice President Williams,
Here.
Commissioner Dara,
Present.
Commissioner Haluka,
Present.
Solicitor Stone,
Here.
Manager Patterson.
Here.
Want to call to everyone's attention that everything we say this evening is recorded and will be on YouTube forever. So be careful in what you say, and because people do look at this. Thank you. I make a motion to approve the January 2nd, 2024 reorganization workshop meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
So we'll move right into old business.
We need to vote on the
Can-
amendments.
Yeah, all in favor for the minutes?
Aye.
Great, thanks. I make a motion to approve the summer meter plan of lots subdivision plan.
Second.
And this, just to refresh you, is the subdivision plan that we talked about a couple months ago that had to go back and get a few legal clauses changed, but it's a person who is getting a portion of land from his neighbor and combining that with his own.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a proposal for Cohen Law Group regarding the cable franchise fee agreement.
Move that we engage Coleman Law Group regarding cable franchise negotiations.
So this one, we talked about this again a couple months ago, and since we talked about it, we wanted to find out who else has participated in this. And Sewickley Borough, Glen Osborne Borough, and Leedsdale Borough have all joined, or accepted the proposal from Cohen, so that's gonna put us, right now, I think in the 2 to 4 range of participants if we choose to participate. So if more people sign on, we'll pay a little bit less each time. And I believe when we talked about it a couple months ago, Harlan was asked his opinion and said that Cohen is this is their specialty, so
Okay.
it would be good to do that.
We're gonna vote on that at the legislative, right?
Yeah, we can vote on that next week, yeah. Anything, yeah, we did, yeah, that's just a discussion, we'll put it on the agenda for next week. So I'll put that on the agenda for vote for next week. And then if we could go back to the resolution for the plan revision, can you get that one?
I'd make the motion to adopt the resolution for the plan revision for new land development, approving the sewage planning module for the Lori Weber home, Leetwood Avenue plan.
Second.
This is a required element for someone who's constructing a new home and needing to tie into the sewer system. There's a whole DEP planning module that's required right now, and they have to submit that, and part of that packet that they prepare and submit to the DEP includes a resolution by the township saying we are aware of the plan and we approve this application for the plan. So that's what this is.
Any old new business before moving on?
Can you finish the motion?
So we have a motion and a
Motion.
second.
Second.
Can we get a vote
Vote.
for that?
All in favor is
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
So on to new business. Act 172, emergency responder tax credits.
So this is something that we do every year. The state allowed the municipalities to offer a 20% off real estate tax credit for first responders who meet the criteria of their particular organization. So in our case, any of the the Aleppo Township volunteer firefighters who reside in Aleppo Township, own a home and pay property tax to Aleppo for it, and then meet the participation criteria as set up by the Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company, are then eligible for a 20% tax credit. And so next week I'll have the rest of these are just discussion things. Next week we'll have the motion written out to give everyone their amounts and their tax exonerations. But this is something we do every year. So that'll be on the agenda for next.
Just a side note, you can probably remove in the Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority, because they don't do volunteer anymore.
Okay,
Just to clean up your
okay,
paperwork.
great, yeah,
They no longer do volunteer.
okay.
They're union.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I
The
couldn't.
Quaker Valley, she has Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority on here. For many years, they were full volunteer, then they were partial volunteer, and they're now completely full-time. So, then they're unionized, so.
Ah, okay. All right. So,
So that'll be on the agenda for next week.
Wonderful.
all right, there's a a request to increase the credit limit to $2,500 on the credit card used by the township manager.
So the card that we, consider our office card has a limit of $1,500, which is normally sufficient for when we just need to make certain purchases, like certain mailings that we need to buy online. But in the times when we're trying to register more than one person for a conference, we run into the fact that we don't have a high enough credit limit to put several registrations on it. So next week, I'll ask for a motion that we officially request of our credit card company to increase the limit to $2,500 for those kinds of things.
Okay. Exoneration of the Clayton Strip for collection of the 2022 real estate tax.
So Clay Stoop, our treasurer, is bonded because he's the elected tax collector. So and the insurance company that provides his bond requires this official motion, this action every year to exonerate him from collecting the balance of the real estate taxes from the year or 2 years prior. So that's just, we do this every year, and I'll put that on the agenda for next week.
So pay request number 2 for Youngblood Paving Incorporated for the 2023 paving project.
They have finished the road paving that they did in the Ridge neighborhood, and they've almost finished the parking lot, but they need to come back and complete the parking lot and do some yard restoration and things in the spring. But when they did the drainage and things like that, and the sidewalks in the parking lot project, we had a couple change orders that were approved by the board at that time, so they're seeking payment for those change orders now, and that'll be on the agenda for next week, the exact dollar amount. And then there's still some held back for
Yeah.
when they complete in the spring.
Letter of support for traffic study at the intersection of River Road and Route 65.
So this intersection is the one at the bottom of Redgate Road, so if you come out here and you turn down the steep hill of Redgate, it turns into River Road when you get to that little bridge and then you're crossing into Hayesville Borough. And that intersection at 65 across, there's a train
It's a
crossing.
four-way, six-way intersection.
Yes, and the angle, you can go up to Beaver at an angle. Notorious for traffic accidents, and Hayesville and Glen Osborne Borough have been working for years to try to get something done at that intersection to improve the safety. So it sounds like the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission, which is the transportation body for this southwestern Pennsylvania, and PennDOT are talking about doing a study there. So the Quaker Valley COG just asked any of the affected municipalities if we'd be willing to send letters of support in support of that study. And, I think Aleppo, we definitely have residents who have had accidents down at that intersection. So I will have we have sample letters in the packet. I'm just gonna model off of these sample letters, and I'll have the drafts in your packet for next week for you to approve sending letters of
I
support.
personally recommend that hope that the traffic study is extensive, because there are some mitigating problems back there with the railroad blocking the gate, so that people, under certain circumstances, no one can get in or out
Correct,
of that area.
correct.
Through the COG, I talked with the railroad about, a year and a half, 2 years ago, seeing what we could do about that, and getting them to, controllers to make the train stop just short, so that gate is never blocked. Well, unfortunately, we learned that this,
Can't be done.
that we have the same problem with 4 other areas within, on the 65 where there's parallel to the train track. And I believe that there was going to be issues with the union, so we just set it
So it's
aside.
not only that, for years, we've had to, if there was an emergency, we used to have to scoot under the train with our thing on our back, leave the ambulance on one side with the driver and fly into the train
Yeah.
if it was an emergency, because once they're stopped, it's blocking.
It's really ludicrous, but
I've crawled under a few trains on those tracks to get over there for ambulance calls, so. And you
So-
just pray that they're not moving then. They pray they got
Yeah.
the phone call that says, we're gonna send somebody under that train, don't move it.
well, the other issue is that it takes 1 mile for that train to stop.
That's why you pray it doesn't move when you're on the tracks underneath it.
Yeah, so I hope the study does something. Wow.
Yeah.
Moving on, request from Aleppo Township Authority for a contribution to Deer Run Road North Pump Station reconfiguration.
So, George and Dan met with some representatives of the authority at the authority's request. The authority received a nice grant to reconfigure the inner workings and the pumps of that pump station that's on Deer Run. It's known alternately as the Deer Run Pump Station and 79 North, so we just call it all the names. And so they received about 85% of the funding that they need, and they approached the township to see if our sewer fund account would be, the board would be willing to contribute the balance of the matching funds for the project, which is in the neighborhood of $84,000. And so at
From
that.
us.
From the township, it would come from the sewer bond fund, it would not come from general township funds, it would come from the sewer-only funds that we accumulate here in order to pay our bond debt. We have some room in that account that could, these funds could be used for sewer-related purposes. So,
The funds are generated by payments from the users of the system.
yes, it's not general tax dollars, these funds in this account are from sewer customers.
I understand.
So,
So is this that like $34 or $35 add-on that's on the bill every couple months? Is that what that is?
Yeah, if you see debt service, it comes from that, and then, if we get some new customers, then we can build up a little bit of excess in the account before we then have to pay the next bond payment.
So the money that would come to cover this comes from the debt service on each bill?
Yes,
I just want to clarify that.
yes, sewer-only funds, we want to make that clear, that that's a segregated account at the township and everything. And so in your packet, you'll see the letter of request from the authority, and so next week I will have the motion on the agenda to, if you are willing to approve that request, there's an up to, I think $84,000 was the request. And that would be, if it comes in less, if the matching amounts needed less, then it would be less, but that was an agreed upon number in that preliminary meeting. So next month,
The grant's about $585,000.
I think the project's 585 and the grant's like 565 or something, the project, and the grant was like 485, so we would be
Nice.
making up the difference
Done.
to that, so, yeah.
It's
The authority worked hard on getting that grant.
Nicely done,
it was a good,
nicely done.
Yeah, they put together a good package for that, so it was a nice grant to get. So that'll be on the agenda next week for consideration and approval of you.
Okay. Is there any citizen participation?
Nope. Not a citizen, not a citizen.
Are there
You're
any
cool.
citizens?
No citizens here.
Is there any spousal participation?
If that's the case, the meeting is adjourned.